as we do have an update for you here that Ralph Patesh with Zan Aggro gets the job done here over Ryan Grodzinski. So Zan Aggro takes care of mono red. Maybe an upset there.
I think so. I think the mana base in that Zan Aggro deck is problematic. Now, a card that Ralph has access to in his list is Wingmate Rock. And if that shows up, particularly rated, then very hard press for mono red to win.
And we are moving into game number 2 here between Baumeister and Syed. Green-White Devotion versus Naya Aggro. So we'll take a look at this Naya Aggro deck list here. Syed is taking a mulligan down to 6 here. Looks like Corey is looking over his 7 cards. But Syed with 4 copies of Shaman of the Great Hunt, 4 Fanatic Zenigos, 4 Goblin Rabblemaster, 4 Stormbreath Dragons, 4 Heir of the Wilds, 4 Elvish Mystic, and then his white splash is mostly for removal. 4 Chain of the Rocks, 2 Valor Stance, and he has 3 Lightning Strikes, a Chandra, and 2 copies of Outpost.
So when I'm identifying decks against Green Devotion, how they match up, if they're on the aggressive end of the spectrum, what I'm looking for is how fast is your deck and how flush are you with removal, both cheap removal for mana creatures and then some bigger removal spells to handle cards like Pelugrinos that slip through cracks. Zan does pass the removal test okay. He has answers to big stuff in Chain of the Rocks and Valor Stance, though he's not very good at breaking up mana creatures. But in terms of being particularly quick, his deck's not great at that. He does have an opening of Elvish Mystic and a Goblin Rabblemaster. That's very potent. But by and large, he's going to be slow coming out of the gates in a relative sense, and Green-White Devotion is not going to be that much time to overwhelm you and leave cards like, Heir of the Wilds and Fanatic Zenigos to be pretty ineffective.
Looks like it's time for another mulligan here for Zan. So things not going the way that he had hoped here in his quarterfinal match. As Baumeister will wait patiently here. It's an interesting Naya deck here. We do not see very much Naya in this particular format, but really this is just a green-red deck with a small splash. Nothing crazy going on. Even in the sideboard, you're actually not going to find any white cards over there. It's just a green-red sideboard, so just splashing white for removal.
Yeah. So kind of taking a play out of the Mardu playbook. White's for a little bit of threats, but mostly Chain of the Rocks. That's the big incentive.
Well, we got another victor here. Daniel Cachetti does win his match over Brian Lee. Green-White Devotion takes care of mono red, so 2 mono red decks are done. So 2 mono red decks.
Both bounced.
Yeah. Sorry, Patrick.
It's okay. Still had a good run, 2 in the top 8,
That is a good run. No doubt about it. Ryan Grodzinski, Brian Lee, now qualified for the Pro Tour.
It felt like he, for the mono red decks, one matchup actively good and one matchup that felt fine.
You know what we're on a crash course for, right?
But things can just happen. The Green-White Devotion mirror match in the finals?
That's correct.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
I'm just saying, if you didn't have anything to do,
yeah,
we could hang out for a while, see both players go up to upwards of 500 life again.
Yeah, I guess probably a little too early to be negotiating my 2016 contract.
Do you think so? Yeah.
You want me to call that match? I don't know.
Might be a bit of a deal breaker for next year.
Perhaps.
You might have to talk to R&D about that. I don't think it's on the Star City Games team. We can't really control it. They designed the cards.
Mastery of the Unseen is a sweet design, It's a cool card. In conjunction with a lot of mana, squaring off against a deck doing a similar thing can be a little ugly.
Zan will be looking at 4. It looks like maybe 5. My apologies. Either 4 or 5. Either way, it's not very many.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it is 4. He's got a mountain. That's a start. As Corey will draw a copy of Sylvan Caryatid, a Temple of Plenty. Now taking a look at the top card, leaving it on top it seems, passing it back over to Syed. Syed will draw. There is a Plains. Pass the turn back over to Baumeister, who will take his draw step. There is Nykthos. This is a Caryatid. We'll go back Zan's way.
Carry added one of the big swing cards against aggressive strategies as its blocker is a great blocker, can't be killed, and allows these Green Devotion decks or any other similar deck to play way ahead of schedule.
There is another copy of Sylvan Carry added. This is a Manic Influence. Corey will take a point of damage here from the Manic Influence to deploy a Voyaging Satyr. So a lot of mana acceleration here for Corey. The question, of course, is does he have the payoff card as Zan is fumbling and stumbling around here on his mulligan to 4.
And anything will play. Any big thing is awesome.
Yep. I think Genesis Hydra may be the best of the bunch here because it'll probably bring another card with it that's relevant. Corey going to unwind here. Does have access to 6 mana this turn. Just wants to make sure he's happy with what he's doing. Looks like Voyaging Satyr's feeling it. It'll come into the red zone. And now here's a Wishbone Elemental. Zan very quickly tapping mana for Valor Stance.
Doesn't want Corey to be allowed to get to his end step there, trigger it, and get a free manifest creature.
All Zan can do is pass yet again. See if Corey has another payoff card here.
And Zan's deck only 1 planes, really only splashing for Chain of the Rock, so that 1 planes facilitates very little.
And there's a Genesis Hydra. It's going to be for 5. Take a look at the top 5 cards. We'll see what it brings along with it. It'll be a copy of Master of the Unseen. The rest of those cards are get shuffled away. None of them too relevant here. Master of the Unseen certainly is. That'll be Baumeister's turn. Syed will draw. It's a mountain. He's missing green mana still. There's a morph. Could be anything.
Ash Cloud Phoenix
is your best guess.
It is, based on having Zan's deck list in front of me, it is my best guess.
An informed guess, it sounds like. Baumeister will draw. Given that he probably knows it's an Ash Cloud Phoenix as well, we'll see how he wants to navigate things here. I think those can generate 5 green if necessary.
Yeah, it's +2, and then Voyaging Satyr also +2 as well as a result of this, so a lot of mana to work with. And Corey just trying to be careful here not to rush through anything, since this position is so commanding.
And these are the situations where you don't want to get sloppy. So attack there with the Genesis Hydra for 5. Step number 1 for Corey. Now he's figuring out what step 2 will be. He's got a lot of math to do. That's the one thing about this Green-White Devotion deck, is it can generate so much mana. So you have a lot of calculations to do on making sure that you maximize it every turn.
Especially in this spot where Corey has Mastery of the Unseen and a lot of white mana, there's a ton of permutations. Often this deck has maybe 1 white mana, so Mastery is, do I use it or not? In this spot, Corey can use it, probably around 3 times, I'm guessing, or break up his mana into other things.
So it'll be 5 green. Now 6. He'll play a Fleece Mane Lion. Untap Nick those. Generate a little bit more. So he's got 8. That'll be 9. He'll activate here. And now trigger this.
Not a bad turn.
Not at all. Fleece Mane Lion is now monstrous. There's a manifest creature, which is a 2/2 now, but it could be so much more. And now we send it back. Syed will untap, and he will draw a card, and he will extend the hand. Corey Baumeister is going to win this match over Zan Syed 2-0. Green White Devotion will take care of Naya Aggro. Baumeister moves on, making his brother proud.